Hey guys, it's David and Brandon here at the apiary. Come down today to check on the two hives that we installed last week. It's kind of a gloomy day today, quite muggy. We've had some rain this morning, but I think it's a pretty good day to be able to check on the hives and see how they're doing after a week. So come along. All right, so we're all suited up here. David's got all his gear on there. I've got my jacket, my hood, my gloves on. And so we're going to open up the first hive here, see how they're doing. All right, after a week. You want to take the block off there? We're going to go around to the back. We always want to work from the back of the hive, simply because you've got your bees that are coming in and out of the front constantly. So you don't want to block their entrance to the hive.
Because then they'll get really mad.
Take our top off here. Got a few bees hanging around on the top. Let me get my hive tool. I'm going to pop the inner cover off. Might want to smoke them just a little bit. They seem like they're a little
wound up.
all right.
In case y'all didn't know what the smoker is for to calm the bees down and it confused them.
Oh,
so then
didn't mean
calm.
to drop that there.
Oh.
All right, so we've got our lid off and our top off. We've still got quite a bit of food down in there where we've been feeding them. So I'm not sure that we'll have to add much there.
Nope.
But let's take a look at one of these inner frames that we installed last week. Again, not really expecting much as far as extra work and things like that. We're really just wanting to make sure that we see the brood still there, and maybe some eggs, things like that.
That's a lot of honey.
All right, so here you can see, let me get a little closer to you. Here you can see this is all capped larvae, capped brood actually. And so, and it's a little darker. That means that's actually will be hatching fairly soon. Over here on this side, you can see some larvae. I don't know if you can see that very well. There's actually some white larvae in there. And then what I'm really excited to see is right in there. I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's actually some eggs. So, Cordavid, do you see those eggs right there?
Yep. That's
You might want to stand back a little bit out of the sun. Yep. So we've got eggs. That means that we've got a queen that's still alive and working in this hive. On this side, kind of the same thing. We've got larvae in all different stages. We've got our capped brood here. Everything looks really good with this hive. We'll put this frame back. Being very gentle, try not to squish any little bees in the process. And we'll take a look at another frame here. again, we've kind of already seen what we need to see here. We've got our eggs and our brood, but it's always good just to check a couple more frames just to make sure things are looking good. Yep, same thing here. David, you want to get out of the sunlight? Come on this side of me, bud. In this one, I see eggs. I see lots of open brood areas. See more eggs. So the queen has actually just recently been on these frames and actually laid eggs. So that's a good sign. I'm going to put this one back.
You want to tell them what color would the honey look like, so then they would know what it looks like?
What the honey would look like?
Yeah, or like what it looks like on it.
Yeah, we'll take a look at this frame right here. The last frame we'll look at on this hive.
And then
And there's an opportunity. You never know. We might see a queen.
yep. There's a lot of bees on that one.
All right, Cordova, where's the honey?
The honey's right here. All of that. So if you see
All of this right in here.
that black stuff right there,
That's all capped honey. Then we've got open brood down in there.
you see some more honey
Some
right
more.
there.
Yep, more honey, more capped brood.
Right there.
They're actually putting some more nectar on this side. This one looks awesome. All right, as I said, our goal really isn't to keep these hives open very long. We want to get in and get out. I'm not going to put any extra food in here because they still have quite a bit. I'm just going to even out these frames a bit. And we're going to close it up. All right, let's check on our second hive here, see how they're doing. So we got our smoker. These are much more calm, so I'm not sure. Hopefully everything's going okay with them. Yeah, they look pretty good in there. Very calm bees. Yeah. Let me actually get you down in here and show you. They built quite a bit of wax
They've built a lot
in a
of
week.
wax. Yep.
So if you look down there in the center there, they've built a lot of wax. They've used more of their feeder as well. So a difference between two hives. You know, when we first put these two hives out, this one was actually kind of the wilder hive anyway. So, and they kind of are still that way. So, not sure what's going on, but we'll crack this one open, take a look, and see how things are going.
Was this the one where we saw the queen?
We did see the queen in this. Well, we saw the queen in both of them, remember?
Yeah.
We saw them whenever we picked up the Nucs.
Yep. But for some reason, we didn't see the queen on the other side.
We didn't whenever we installed them.
Yeah. But we saw them when we picked them up.
Yeah, we did
which
see
is
them
good.
when we picked them up.
And in
And
case
the
y'all
smoker's gone out again.
and in case y'all didn't know, the second beehive, there was the bag was closed and there was bees somehow that came out. So good thing the bag was there. If the bag wasn't there, we would have been stung several times. So good thing the bag was there. Dad, his smoker went out again. But yeah, they've made a lot of wax in a week. Which is pretty crazy.
All right, so we've got our smoker. I'm going to smoke them a little bit, but honestly, these are so calm that I don't know that I'm going to have to smoke them much. All right, let's pull a couple of these frames out and see how things are going here. Again, these are just so calm compared to the others.
The others are just so wild.
Well, they're not like, they don't get all up in your face or sting you or anything, but they're definitely, they don't like you being in their hive very much. Not that these will either. You can see these have a
Some honey right there.
little bit of honey.
Some right there.
We've got our capped brood there. Right over on this side. See how things are looking. More capped brood. There's one little bee trying to fly around me.
There's a
I'm gonna
bee
set
that
this one
keeps
out.
on getting on my mic.
He's wanting to be on camera. All right, let's take a look at this frame. I didn't see any eggs in that frame, so I'm going to look a little further because I want to make sure that we've got eggs and larvae. You can gently blow on them and it'll move them out of the frame. All right, so I do see some eggs here.
And there's some honey.
Yep, there's some good honey there.
Which is really good.
See some larvae.
There might be a chance of a queen.
Well, there hopefully is a queen in here. Just will we see it or not?
Yep. Oh,
all right, this is one of the new frames that we put in just last week. And you can see they've started building it out right here. Move them out of the way a little bit. Just gently kind of move them back and forth. So that's good. Good that they're building out some new frames. See if we can find a queen here. All right, another frame here. Got some cat brood on there. Putting quite a bit of nectar in. All right. No queen yet. Or that queen can hide from you easily.
She likes to be in the dark.
She does like to be in the dark.
So she might mostly be in the bottom, or she might be somewhere right here.
All right, so we've got, this is good. We've got our eggs there. We've got our larvae. So we know we've got a queen in here somewhere. No, no worry about that now. But David, you might want to move your head a little bit. You might be in the camera. All right. Let's look at this last frame. Hopefully we will see her on it.
Hopefully.
We're going to be very gentle. This is another frame with a lot of nectar in it.
Some honey, not too much.
Some honey.
Here,
Mm-hmm.
here.
All right.
These bees keep getting on my mic.
Not seeing the queen yet. We're going to go back through here and see if we can find her again. I'm going to go pretty quick. If I see her, or David, if you see her, you point her out too, okay?
Alright. Might be in the camera.
She's down there in the bottom somewhere,
Yeah.
hiding.
And again, she doesn't like the light that much. She loves the dark. And there's some honey right there. See him? I mean, see her?
Nope, not yet.
I just love the fact that bees can just do this in a couple of days, in a couple of weeks. You see her yet?
Still not finding her. But there's
Shame.
evidence that she's here, so I'm not worried about it. Because I've seen eggs and I've seen larvae. I feel certain she's just really good at hiding.
She's playing hide and seek with us.
Those together there. One last time, she most likely wouldn't be on this frame. There's not much on it.
Guys, I have a question for you. This is the questioner of the day. What bug makes honey? This is real easy. If you guessed bee, you're correct. Every week it'll get harder and harder. But this week it's easy.
All right.
You can see some wax right there too. It's really good.
Sometimes you can blow on them just a little bit and get them to move out of the way. Yeah, she's just a really good hider.
Really good hider.
Which is totally fine. As long as she's doing her job, she can hide
okay.
all that she wants to. All right, we're going to tighten this frame back up. And on this one, since they have used quite a bit of their resources, their sugar water, I'm going to put a little bit of sugar water in there for them.
Please don't tell him, but I'm going to do 2 questions instead of 1 because y'all are my favorite. So, what is this called? Now, if you said wax, you are correct. Don't tell them.
This is just a 1-to-1 ratio of water and sugar with some honeybee healthy mixed in.
You're supposed to boil it really hot.
Well, you have to melt the sugar.
Yeah.
So get your water boiling and then put your sugar in there. And that should melt that sugar down. And create a good sugar water that they can use for food while they're building up their hive. All right.
These bees are super calm. We only have to use the smoker once, which is kind of cool. They're just.
All right. So where's our top board for David?
Top board is right there. Somehow it just came out with that too. Make sure you don't kill any bees this time.
Top board on there. We're gonna put our lid on there.
We're gonna put the brick on there next.
Our brick on there.
There's 2 people on a farm looking at bees.
So what you think?
It's okay. The other one's just like kind of. It's more wild than the other one.
The first one that we looked at,
Yeah.
it's more wild. Yeah, those bees are a little more rowdy than the second hive that we had.
And the second hive is.
It's chill. They're super chill.
Is it? Yeah.
I will say that the first hive had more eggs. It seemed like in it.
And more
but
honey.
we saw some eggs in that second hive, so I'm not worried about it. Seems like they're just putting stores away right now with nectar. Let's talk a little bit about the Williams family farm and Catalpa Apiary and kind of how we came up with that name. So Williams family farm is property that my grandparents owned. They lived here for, gosh, my grandmother lived here for 90 years almost.
Yep.
She actually lived here all but I think 4 years of her life. My grandfather bought the place when he was in World War II. Sent money over from the war that he had saved and bought the place. It had about 100 acres on it at that time and a small house, very rundown house. And then over the years, they grew tobacco here. They had multiple gardens. Of course, tomatoes and corn was kind of their big thing to grow and raise, and okra.
She loved having gardens.
Yeah. She loved being outside. That our grandmother did. As to why we call it Catalpa Apiary, so there's a tree that grows around here called the catalpa tree. Honestly, growing up, we called it the catawba tree, but it's the catalpa tree. My granddad loved it. It's a fast-growing tree, has really big leaves on it. In fact, here in a minute, actually, Cordavid, you want to run down there and grab a leaf off of one of the catalpa trees down there at the creek?
Yeah.
So yeah, the catalpa tree is a tree that my grandparents planted, gosh, probably 100 of them over the years on their property. There's a creek that lines the property over there, and they planted them down that creek line. And the catalpa tree, really, they planted them simply because they were fast-growing trees. And in the summertime, they have a worm that comes on them called the catalpa worm or the catawba worm. That worm is used around here as one of the best fishing baits around. You can catch some huge catfish off of a catalpa worm. And so that's kind of the reason that we called it Catalpa Apiary, is because one, the trees grow around here, but the other thing about the catalpa tree is they have huge blooms in the spring, huge white blooms in the spring, and the bees love them. And so it's another form of nectar for the bees out here, and it's a really it's a grounding point for the apiary here. Here's the catalpa tree leaf.
It's real big.
Huge. And again, they get these black and yellow worms that will climb up the trees and then they eat the leaves. And then either the birds eat them or people come and get them off and use them for fishing bait. So the reason why we decided on Catalpa Apiary as the name of the apiary here is simply because that tree has a lot of meaning to us as part of the Williams family. Again, our grandparents loved that tree. There were well over 100 on the property here. And it's just kind of a flashback to growing up here. I would probably say my sister or my cousins can't remember a time when those trees weren't on this property. So again, it's just kind of a nod back to history here on the farm as a way to connect back with my grandparents and uh, almost like a thank you back to them for giving us this land and for taking care of it for so long and for nurturing us here on this property.